and Dads podcast. Doing a couple things a little different today. First and foremost, we are going to be talking about the market bounce, the Sol ETFs outperforming Bitcoin and Ethereum, Ripple partnering with Mastercard, and a lot more topics that are going on in a little bit more niche part of the crypto space. We are doing a 9x16 format this time, so we're going to try to engage a new audience via TikTok, via YouTube Shorts, and all our YouTube 9x16 and all that. And it's going to be a solo show today, just Chris Coffee, one solo Degen Dad today. With all that being said, we're going to have a good time. We're going to do what we always do. We're going to do an icebreaker, talk about some poly market betting. So our predictions, one of the best rebrands of the year. So let's go ahead and pull that up, our poly market predictions market. So far in poly market, we started with, I actually don't know exactly how much we started with, but currently for the month, we're up $21. I did some like dumb predictions when I first got on poly market, and we're not doing anything too crazy, like not a lot of volume here, obviously, down $37 overall. But for the month, I'm doing pretty good. I won 2 poly market bets, one with the Fed rates and the other one with Gemini Pro, whether they're going to release their newest model or not. But let's go ahead and pick a new topic today. If you are in chat, you're watching, you're listening, or anything like that, feel free to input any part of the conversation. So some of the breaking news is a lot on politics. I like doing something a little bit more fun when I do my prediction markets. Like, will Apple become the second largest company in the world by market cap on November 30th? I would have to do more research on that. One of the reasons why I did a couple of losing predictions is because I just picked something really quickly. But I do want to lock in one before we get started. I just don't know exactly which category that would be. Probably crypto, because I know the most about crypto. Well, what will the Bitcoin price hit in November? This one's already locked in, obviously. Monad airdrop's already locked in as well. That it was one of the announcements today. Monad did officially announce their airdrop date, upcoming in like 2 weeks from now. And Mega ETH also had some updates as well. We're going to be talking about later. So a lot of these are already locked in. I would like to talk about one. I would like to talk about some that are not locked in. Let's see. Today is November the 6th. So Bitcoin up or down November 6th. I don't know. Will MetaMask launch a token? I like this one. Will MetaMask launch a token by December 31st? And right now, most people are betting on no, they will not. There's a 7% chance that they'll release it by then, but by June 30th, there's a 69%. So I'm going to go ahead and buy yes, and that's just because I think MetaMask will tease something that might bump this up from 7% maybe to 10%, but I'm going to do a very small bet. I'm going to literally do like $20. Actually, let's do 20 right here, and let's get this down here. Oh, wait, now let's do the 20 as well. All right, so we're just going to buy $20 for the chance to win $4. Wait, is that right? Now let's just do it like this. We'll do it like this. All right, we'll lock that in, and we'll see how that goes next next Degen Dads podcast, how I'm doing on that with buying in on 7%. But let's go on to some of the juicy news for the week, for the month, really. The BTC and ETH spot ETFs are actually lagging behind on Solana. And I have DeFi Llama already pulled up here. You can see that Bitcoin has had net outflows of 137 million, and Ethereum has had net outflows of 119 million. So both Bitcoin and Ethereum on November 5th are having outflows, meaning money is leaving the market, which obviously is not a good sign. Whereas Solana ETF actually saw 9.7 million in inflows. Granted, one of the things about this is, even though it looks really good on paper, is Solana really just had their inflows like triggered. So they're just now actually putting in to the market. Because if you go overall with outflows, I don't know if you can actually view this on this chart that I'm looking. I would like to see the total inflows. The total inflows for Bitcoin are obviously in the billions. And then the total for, I don't know if this, yeah. So when you factor in total, obviously, let's see, Bitcoin ETF. No, I had Degen Finance was doing this really well with tracking these inflows, but for the last couple months, they've kind of been lagging behind. But you get the point. Let's see, crypto ETFs. Here we go. And of course, theirs isn't aggregating either. But basically, the Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs have obviously had billions of dollars in inflows. Solana is just getting started. Let's see what Cointelegraph has to say about that, though. Basically, my opinion is I do think Sol would be a juicy buy here if the market rebounds, because it just had a crucial crash to from 16.8% in the last 7 days, and that's with a bounce back at $156. When we saw Ethereum get their ETF inflows, I mean, Ethereum basically went like barely able to break that $3,000 mark. Like you can see, they had the announcement here, and the or something like that, and the announcement led to like 4K ETH briefly, had a huge drawback back down, and I actually forgot that it got to like 1,600. That's crazy. And then once the ETF inflows actually started kicking in, was probably like in around July, August. I mean, it pretty much went from like 2,000, 2,500 to we saw the peak at like 4,800. And obviously the whole market just got absolutely destroyed this week. So kind of trying to recover from that. It just hasn't yet. This is so bloody. But my point of bringing this up is I expect Solana, if we don't just have a reversal in the market, to kind of do the same. And now again, we just had some like brutal, it's like a brutal week for the crypto market. So it's kind of hard to suggest that it's going to rebound from here. But I think if trajectory does turn around, Solana is definitely going to be something to look out for. Solana is actually down. If you bought Solana 1 year ago, you're actually down 16%, which is pretty pathetic for a bull market. I keep on hearing like, we're in the bull market, we're in the bull market, we're in the bull market. Like, I do think that there was obviously some tokens like, yeah, if you would have bought Solana at $8 like back in freaking 2022, like 2 years ago, but I don't think that's fair to say like that was part of the bull market. I mean, if you would have bought during this little sliver right here, you would have made tons of money. At pretty much any other point that you would have bought, you would have been down on your buys. I mean, you could have bought in 2024. In March, and you would be down on your buy. Like you could have bought last year and been down on your buy. So I don't know. This is the bull market that we were waiting on. It was a pretty pathetic one. You do see runners like Zcash right now. I think it recently flipped like top 10. No, it flipped AVAX. This thing is up 54% for the week. It's a privacy coin. I haven't jumped on the bandwagon myself yet, but super interesting to watch it just jump 54%. It's up actually 123% in the last 2 weeks, 290% in the last 30 days. So absolutely crazy action from Zcash here, which was like a complete sleeper. But all that being said, I think the takeaway from this announcement with the Sol ETFs actually kicking in is it's going to be something to watch. And I think these inflows are going to keep on coming in. It's going to be the most speculative asset out of the approved ETFs that actually has inflows right now. So I think some of these might be even rotating capital from. We saw that once the ETH ETF went live. Some of the companies that already were buying the BTC ETF actually rotated some capital into the ETH ETF, and I imagine it's going to trickle down into the Solana ETF. Kind of get that like higher risk, higher reward. And yeah, I'm very interested on Solana here. If again, it depends on the rest of the market sentiment, which is super debatable. I actually saw a post from Alex Becker, who is like a perma bull. Obviously, if you watch Alex Becker on YouTube or even like looked at it or watched any of his like Twitter posts, but he was basically talking about this is the worst crypto has been since 2019. Two things can happen here. It's over. This is bad. Alts are oversold. Returns will be astronomical. I'm not calling for either. What I am calling for is we are going to lose another. He thinks we're going to lose another 50 to 60% in alt tops outside of World War III. There just isn't enough sellers left to drive us to that path. Okay, so he doesn't think this. If B hits, then we'll run at least return to all-time highs, giving us a 10 to 20x gains and even well-known big boy alts. If you are a smart cookie, you'll see the extreme lopsided risk to reward here, or at least would be goofy to sell here. I'm truly arms up. I don't know where to go from here. Coin flip. But what I do see is a roulette table with a gamble that is absolutely lopsided. So basically what he's trying to say here is he's still betting on the fact that alts are going to return to all-time highs. Some people are super skeptical of that because this cycle, and we'll go back to these like very basic CoinGecko charts, This point of the cycle has really matched the previous 4-year cycles, unfortunately. And that's what people are scared of. You kind of see like, where is this? This is a terrible chart, but we'll still just use this one. Maybe make it a little bigger. But basically, you get that all-time high. You get a retracement, for 40%, and then you get a new all-time high, and then a new cycle. And that's pretty much what we just saw in May or July. And then here's like kind of another example of one. March of 2024, we hit the all-time high. Now, obviously, this isn't the 4-year cycles, but just kind of like the cycle we keep seeing. And then, of course, ETF all-time high, and we just recently hit it of 120K. So people are scared that this is the 4-year cycle and it's done, and it's just going to be down only from here. And that's what even some people were commenting on Alex Bextor's post. You're at the end of the 4-year cycle and the 18.5-year cycle. This is a risk and highly speculative. I'm out. I've lost enough money. So people are scared. I mean, I would say let's look at the fear and greed index. This is a fear and greed index. This is a simple index to let people know like where fear and greed are. Basically, it's going to be like max fear, which is historically a good time to buy. It's at 25 fear. We do have somebody in chat. What's up, chat? It's at a 25% fear. So people are extremely fearful right now in the market because, I mean, there's just so much unknown, so many different ways that all this could go. But there are, to me, crypto still has enough tailwinds to really come back from the current fear that the market has. Like the tailwinds of these ETFs and institutions holding up the crypto market, the tailwinds of the mass adoption, the tailwind of the current president, like him, don't like him, whatever, saying super bullish things about Bitcoin. Matter of fact, he had a speech yesterday where he proclaimed that United States is going to be the Bitcoin superpower and the crypto Bitcoin capital of the world. Let's go ahead and play that clip.
Making the United States the Bitcoin superpower, the crypto capital of the world, and the undisputed leader in artificial intelligence. We're making the United States the Bitcoin superpower, the crypto capital of the world, and the undisputed leader in artificial intelligence.
Yeah, also in artificial intelligence, he kind of slid that in there as well. And that's another thing. There's been ridiculous gains on like AI stocks. There's been ridiculous gains, I'm sure, about to be on robotics after the whole like Neo thing came out. And people are just seeing that if they buy like stocks, they've been getting like a 50% increase in like the last few months. Whereas if you buy crypto right now, these last few months have been pretty terrible for most tokens. So it's like people are going to go where the speculation is at the end of the day. Crypto has a lot of speculation and a lot of upside, but right now people are just so unsure of it that they're kind of taking a step back and going into things that are going up and that are rewarding people right now. But there are still believers out there. I'm not the biggest XRP fan, but XRP is still holding at $2.24. And even with pretty incredible news yesterday, it's still down on the day. It's still down 1.2% on the day. Yesterday, the XRP had an announcement that it was going to partner with Mastercard. So basically, Mastercard is going to add on RLUSD for credit settlements on Ledger. So basically, this is pretty much exactly what it stands for. I'll just go ahead and read it. Per Wednesday announcement from both platforms, collaboration of leverage Ripple's stablecoin, which is RLUSD, on XRP to enhance how fiat-based payments are processed with Gemini credit card. I actually have a Gemini credit card. It's in my wallet. I really like it. You basically get crypto back for your purchases, and then you get incentivized to use your card on during, like, they had a special going on during the summer to where if you bought your golf round with your Gemini card, you got 10% back. That 10% back could come in the form of Bitcoin. It could come in Ethereum. It could come in Doge. It can come in whatever you want it. Not whatever, but it could come in whatever the list is. Part of this now is they're able to do this with Ripple or with XRP to where when you buy using your card, you can actually get XRP back. And then there's kind of like more thoughts on it. Basically bringing the global payments network to bring regulated open loop stablecoin payments into financial mainstream. This was from Sherry Heyman, the global head of digital commercialization at Mastercard. So we got people dropping their Sol addresses in the chat. We are going to do a giveaway soon, probably. Yeah, so we'll talk about that later. We also do giveaways almost weekly, so definitely stay tuned. Get in our community. We have a Discord and we have a school to get involved with, which I will talk about later on this live. Let's talk more about the Mastercard RLUSD though. In the coming months, Ripple and Mastercard will bonjour les service was my address. I'm assuming like that's my Solana address. I don't speak French, but I do know, hello, this is probably my Solana address. RLSUD, they need to rebrand these tickers, man. These are like terrible and long. RLUSD stablecoins has seen much success in the past year since its launch, surpassing $1 billion in circulation. The RLSUD Mastercard setting test will see WeBank, the issuer of the Gemini credit card, exploring settling Mastercard transactions while using RLSUD on the XRPL. Is implemented, this will be the first instance of regulated U.S. banking settling traditional card payments using regulated stablecoins on public blockchain. So this is going to be obviously more than just like a slightly cashback for your credit card. This is going to be like a pretty good innovation for blockchain, for crypto using this stablecoin. I think overall this is bullish if people are actually using this. My devil's advocate here is people that are really involved with also the Ripple, the XRP. Well, 2% of them announcement, but it's going back down. My skepticism with this type of stuff is usually that the believers in the underlying crypto asset, in this case XRP, are like the biggest advocates for it, and they're pretty much the ones that use it, whereas like everybody else is the doesn't use it. So it pretty much just ends up being just specifically for the community. So we'll see how that goes, but yeah, I don't know. Overall, the market is looking. I see why it's fearful here. There has been some interesting news. I don't have this directly pulled up, but there's been a lot of debate over the Mega ETH. I like what Tyler said. Tyler D runs a show, runs a newsletter, and this is what he has to say. Well, this is overall, but he was talking about specifically with Mega ETH how he's kind of disappointed. Because basically Mega ETH is like a faster scale for Ethereum. It allows you to do tons of transactions quickly. And basically what they ended up doing was doing an ICO where people basically put in money and they only got a percentage back of their allocation. The problem is people that notoriously have a bad rep in this space, like Cook, I don't really mind him myself. But this stuff is kind of crazy. So Cook got 94% of his allocation, even though it was 30x over subscribed. So most people literally got zero. They probably put a couple $1,000s in, if that, and they got zero allocation out of their total, meaning they just got refunded. Whereas Cook got 94% of his Mega ICO allocation back. And I guess a lot of people are just concerned exactly on how they decided this. I mean, Brett said top on-chain, high social locked conviction. So that's what he's saying here is Cook actually has a large on-chain history, specifically probably testing Mega ETH. High social, I mean, he's got like 150,000 followers, something like that. And he locked his tokens for a year, meaning like when he receives his tokens, he won't dump them immediately. They have to be locked up for a year. So that's how Cook ended up getting the top allocation, at least according to Brett. I think the concern was that there wasn't super transparent about how you would. I'm assuming they didn't want people to gamify it, but I see why people like Tyler have an issue with this. Ironically, Cook also just got shadow banned from the Monad airdrop, which was also announced very recently. Monad airdrop's coming up in like 2 weeks. You can already check it to see if you're allocated. They're actually live right now. That's super interesting. But yeah, they posted super recently. Let's see. I thought it was on this post. I don't know which post it was on, but basically they were saying they did announce that they were going to go live on, maybe it's on their claim site. It was like November 23rd or something like that. You should be able to have your Monad airdrop sent directly to you. I'm not going to sign into this right now. I was qualified for the Monad airdrop, so obviously I am excited about this. I don't know where in the world they posted the. Here, let me just type it in. Monad. Let's see. Monad airdrop date. We'll go with that. They had poly market odds on it. That's what people are talking about. Okay, this was the claim portal date. Man, I can't believe it's not like super clear on their Twitter, the date. Oh well, it's somewhere on there, but it's the date for the Monad airdrop is, I had it pulled up on another tab, November 24th. So let's say Monad November 24th. Basically, to qualify for this, you just had to either do testnet transactions or you had to have one of the NFT projects that qualified. I had Sappy Seals and I had Pixels, so both of which qualified. Here's Ray. Ray does awesome roundups. I actually want to go back to that in a second. Okay, here we go. November 5th, which was yesterday. Monad Mainnet will drop on November 24th at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, waiting room. So I guess they're literally going to leave this live going for that entire time until it drops. So I appreciate the marketing there. That's pretty cool. Super interesting way to do it. That's why I overlooked it, because I saw that they were live and I knew they announced it yesterday. So November 24th, 9 a.m. Eastern Time. If you qualify for the Monad airdrop, you'll get it. I do want to go back up to Ray's roundup. I think these are fantastic. So basically, he has the price of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and then he goes to the news. And this news is really good. Him and Tyler, I think, do this the best that I see on Twitter. Talks about the Monad. I want to make sure we didn't miss anything here. So he talks about the Monad announces mainnet launch on November 24th. We just talked about that. Charles Schwab to launch crypto trading in 2026. Trump gives speech saying he will make America the Bitcoin capital of the world. We've showed a video on that. Robinhood beats earnings. That's awesome. The Hood stock's been going crazy. That's another one that, like, why trade crypto when you could have just like bought Hood stock like a year ago. It's up 332% in the past year. That's insane. Like, why trade crypto when you can do that? I know that you don't have the best view of that right now, but that's how much it was up. Let's go back to Ray's roundup. Metaplanet borrows 100 million using BTC as collateral. That's a crazy borrow. Gemini gets set to launch prediction market contracts. That's awesome. I just did that poly market prediction at the beginning of the show. Gemini, if you're looking for any sponsors, hit us up at Degen Dads. Solana ETFs outpace Ethereum and Bitcoin ETFs on daily net inflows. We did just see that when I looked at it at the beginning of this episode, where the Ethereum and the Bitcoin both were having outflows today of like 100 plus million, which affects the price, obviously. And Solana had 9 million in inflows. But again, in my opinion, that's a very short term. I don't know what word to use for it, but it's very short term because Bitcoin and Ethereum are already established ETFs, whereas Solana just now has ETF inflows. So that'll balance out. But I do think that's super bullish for Solana. If the market bounces back, I think Solana is going to bounce back the hardest out of the top 5 coins. Maybe Bitcoin first, because Bitcoin is just the leader in everything. And dominance has maintained pretty high this season. Ripple partners with Mastercard. We did cover that. Mega ETH releases allocation details. Aster announces plans to launch a gasless privacy foundation. Let's see where Aster's at. Aster had 2 pumps because CZ, the founder of Binance, bought once. And that pumped it. And then he later posted again saying he bought again, but he's not going to keep on talking about his buys. Yet Aster is still down with the rest of the market, barely holding that dollar. I'm pretty bearish on Aster, so we'll see how this goes. It's going to need a crazy comeback to come back. I think that this is just kind of held up. I don't know. I'm not crazy on Aster. Franklin Templeton launches a tokenized money market fund in Hong Kong. Wintermute releases a report on crypto market. I actually would love to read that. I'll read that later, probably not on stream. Strategy STRC closes at all-time high. Iggy Azalea partners with Solana Celebrity Meme Coin Launchpad. Zach XVT partners with BNB to investigate the chain. That's super interesting. And K-pop, because I was just like what I was just talking about with like CZ buying Aster. Like, is that gamified or not? K-pop artist seen at Knicks game outside wearing Moonbirds gear. That's pretty funny as well. I'm sure that had to do with Spencer, who is the person who took over Moonbirds, but that's interesting. So that was a huge mouthful. I was going to go for 30 minutes today. I have a couple of fun things that I want to do before we end. And that's pull some RWAs, some like tokenized Pokemon or tokenized assets. It doesn't have to be Pokemon. This is a platform that has points, and you know what points you usually have to do with in the future. I'm becoming a power user on this platform. I have 13K points. I'm trying to get into that top 100 spot, but I have a lot of catching up to do. but they have claw machines. Their claws range from $30, $50 to $100 to $250. So we'll go down to the 30 category, just getting started, and we pay $30 for like a gotcha style pool. And the gotcha style pool could have anything from, I pulled some Kobe's worth like $200 something last week, to this Charizard that's worth $472. But we also give these away a lot to our community. So we have one main hub for our community, and that is school. I'll show you in just a second what our school looks like. Let me hop on over to this tab and make sure that you can see it clearly. Here we go. So our school, we post weekly analysis. We have weekly updates. We have a whole classroom. 3 days ago, Kyle just posted about how if Bitcoin is still going to be bullish till the end of the year or not. We have a whole classroom getting you started on how to do all of this stuff, from the foundations of money blockchain, how to set up a wallet, buying crypto, security scams, DeFi yield, and that will be continuing to be added. We have weekly calls, and we have so far 104 members in here. So if you're not in and you'd like to be in, hop into that Degen Dads school community. It is referral based as well. So if you're in it and you refer somebody and they join, you get a kickback for that. But we do giveaways exclusively for the school community, which are going to be held via Discord. And a lot of these giveaways are going to consist of things like pools on here. So let's go ahead and pool our first one and see what we get, and kind of just show you how this platform works. We're going to do a $30 claw. We're going to do a $50 claw, and we might even end it with a $250 claw to cap up that nice 30 minutes that we were talking about. We're going to be live today. So let's go ahead and run it. Right now, it's just taking the money out of the account. I already have this account with funding in it, and we'll see what we get. It doesn't usually take very long. It's taking a little longer this time. Let's see. Usually you're not supposed to refresh, but I might go ahead and refresh. Of course, the one time I'm streaming, it's probably, well, I'm not going to say that, but okay. So I pulled a 1997 Japanese fossil muck. Such an old card to have such a low price for the $30 pool. So I can choose to keep this or swap it back. The reason this is probably so low price is just because the series it came from, it's not like a first edition. It probably came from like an open series, if I had to guess. I'm not a Pokemon card expert. I do know some things about Pokemon cards. This isn't one of them I know a lot about. But that was the pool. So we're going to go ahead and go do the $50 pool. Let's see what our odds are on the 50. So let's go to the T50 category. And yesterday they had some banger cards in this $50 category. They had some like right now they have this Charizard promo card that's worth $1,167. Super clean Japanese. We've got this Afro Pikachu that's at $1,167. I love this card as well. And we got this other Pikachu that's a PSA 10 for 1K. So the odds to get like a very good card are high. And also you might see right there that the average odds is actually over 50. That means you have a higher chance to pull something worth more than what you're actually paying for it. We'll see if that happens for me though. It's at 52 right now. So we'll see how it goes. I pulled a $27 card. You got a Japanese Gold Sky Silvery. We're a PSA 10. We are going to swap this baby back, and let's see what they got in the $250 claw. To just go ahead and cap out this video. I'm going to make sure that it's worth it first before I hit it, because if it's if I'm a little, I don't want to just lose $100 something right here on this live stream, but I might do it for content's sake. But let's see if it's worth it. The top card we can pull in this, so the odds of this claw are under 250. The average value is 246, which you don't see super often. The last few cards were 210, 252, 130, on and on. The top cool in here is this 2001 Japanese Gengar, which is $2,500. You could also get this $1,800 2021 Pikachu. You could get this Pokemon Gold Star Celebi. So you can see like there's a lot more bangers to be pulled. And yeah, I mean, all the way down, even the lowest one here is $567. So the odds of pulling something and making and like being in the profit a couple hundred are higher. I am, we'll just go ahead and do. Should we do it, chat? If I get one person to drop saying we should do it, I'll do it. If not, I'm gonna drop the 50 one more time if I don't get a comment saying do it, and we're gonna call this a day. So we'll go ahead and do the 50 in the meantime. See if somebody in chat wants to drop the 250, and we'll see what we get to wrap up the day. That was a mouthful. I miss having my co-host here today because he's able to fill in the blanks of me yapping. But there was a lot to cover today. A lot happened this week. So what a crazy market. So I just put in the 50 claw, and I pulled a $102 card. This is a 2023 Paldea Evolved Crocolore PSA 10. That's why it's worth so much. This is an illustration rare. So let's go. I'm going to swap that back, and that's going to make us end up positive for those like 4 pulls that I did, even though the first 2 pulls were negative. I think that's a great way to end this stream. I appreciate every single one of you that came by, listened to me yap. Be sure to do all those social media things wherever you're watching this. Like, give it a repost, give it a like, give it a comment, whatever social you're on. Give it one of those things.